All right, all right. This is episode 15.
One thing in life.
I'm Wade.
I'm Stedman.
I'm Miles.
Hell yeah. By the way, I'd like to start off by saying this is a judgment-free zone.
Is that your new thing now? When you
Absolutely.
What if I wanna be
Absolutely.
judged,
It's
though?
all right. You have not our sponsor, but our sponsor.
Yeah, we'll get into it right now. I guess shout out to our sponsor. That's not really our sponsor. Oh, what's the phone number, man?
I don't know. My phone number.
1-800-662-4357. The alcoholic hotline. If you need help, go get yourself some fucking help.
Remember, drink to that.
Yeah, fucking water,
not
man.
an
Get you some water.
If needs a beer, I have a beer.
You want to start with questions, or do you want me to go?
Oh, man. I want to hear your icebreaker.
You want to hear mine? All right.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite simple pleasures?
Favorite simple pleasure? Honestly, when I was out in North Carolina, it was probably just having my car and just being able to go on like nightly drives. Like late night drives were like therapy sessions. Or even the gym.
Like music to my ear.
I don't know, it's just like an escape from reality because I could go and just drive wherever I wanted to, and then I would just put on whatever music was the vibe at the time, and then I would just drive around and just think, pretty much, so.
I could tell we get along very well.
Heck yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that, and then probably the gym, too. That's another thing. Like, I noticed, I don't know, if somebody like does something to me that like kind of like irks me or something like that, I'll get like kind of triggered and I'll like remove myself from the situation. But then immediately, like after 10 minutes, I'll realize I'm like already heading to the gym. So it's kind of like a way for me to relieve stress. So I guess those two would be like my two things right now. So
Dope.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Solid. Dude, I'm not even going to cap. I don't even have an icebreaker.
dope. All right. You want to get into it then, or are you going to come up with one?
Ooh, we can just get into it.
Okay.
get into it.
Shit.
I know Miles well. This is
Yeah.
a good buddy of mine, personally.
Yeah. You're first.
Damn. All right. What emotion are you most comfortable with?
What emotion?
That's good.
Ooh, I could get pretty depressing with this. I don't know,
That's what I'm
probably
saying. Wait, what?
probably recently within the last few years, probably honestly just like sadness. Just like, I don't know, just went through like a lot of shit recently, and a lot of times just like the vibes of like my music has been pretty I wouldn't say like depressing, but like more
Sad boy.
melancholic, yeah, sad boy vibes, like I don't know, like Frank Ocean, Drake, a bunch of stuff like that. X, Lil Peep.
I was going to ask if you listen to X, because
Yeah.
he sings an X song all the time.
He's the one that put me on X, honestly, back in like, what was it, 2018?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's like one of my favorite artists, so
Oh, God.
Solid.
yeah, I don't know.
Get your jaw coins.
You got a job for that?
On jaw.
On Johnson, hopefully. Yeah, I don't know.
What about you, Stedman?
What was the fucking
What
question?
is your
What's the
most
emotion that you're most comfortable with?
Oh, probably like happiness. I'm like usually like a happy person, happy go lucky. Like,
Trying to be like you, my boy.
yeah, I don't know. I just try to fucking like, or like goofy too. Like that's just like always like fucking cracking jokes and shit.
Nah,
or just
man.
fucking around.
One of my favorite things this guy does on occasion is when he's really in a mood, he just starts going, ah! I tell you, I could be mad as a motherfucker. He starts doing that, bro. I'm cheesing. That shit's too good.
Oh man. Yeah, that's been my little work thing lately, man. I come into work and I just see his ass not doing it. Oh man. It's fucking
What
good.
about you? Shoot the question back at you.
Oh, it's obviously depression. That's the most comfortable one for me because I'm just used to it.
Thanks.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh man.
The day of
Okay.
life. It's like a cup of coffee in the morning for
It
me.
is what it is.
I'm like, crack it open. Yep, depression.
Shit. What's the next big step you need to take in your life?
I would say probably starting school in the fall. So, yeah, I mean, I just want to start school and I'll be going for bachelor's in exercise and sports science. And then following after that, obviously get my master's and then doctorate because I want to be a physical therapist. So,
How many years?
for all the schooling,
Yeah.
Too
eight.
many.
If I fast track, it could be like 7. So, yeah,
Hey, salute to you, man. Give me some.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I mean,
dope.
it's all right.
it is all right. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be pretty ass, honestly, and especially because it's like medical schools are super competitive. So I already looked into like acceptance rates for master's programs, and I have to be like damn near close to like a straight A student, so I can't even slack. So it's gonna suck.
Oh
Shit
man.
hitting the books.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shit.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
But you really miss that BRZ right?
Hey, I got the Jeep now. I'm good.
Oh yeah, you just.
Would you ever take it off-roading?
I want to. Like that's the whole point is I want to start doing like overlanding with and like camping and stuff like that with it. So
Yeah, that'd be dope.
yeah, that's the goal.
Oh yeah.
That's the goal.
Nah, that shit would be hype.
What about you, Wade?
What about me? What
What's
was
the next big step you need to take in your life?
Investing my money. I'd say that's a big step that I need to take because I've been sitting there with just money in my account that just does nothing.
You
And-
should put money in towards like the S&P 500 on like a Roth IRA. I think the max you can put in is like 6,000. And if you do that like every year, you're projected to
was
get
just-
like a couple mil by the time you retire.
and I was
Learning
just
lesson.
talking is they actually upped it to 6,500 a year now.
Shit.
This year,
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to put some into that then.
about to max out.
Dude, literally. I need to max win.
I need a max win.
yeah.
But yeah, that's the biggest thing is just not letting my money sit there do nothing for
Yeah.
me.
Because that's an easy dub.
Fair enough. Solid, man. Solid. Me, I would probably say buying a fucking house, man.
Oh,
my next
dude,
big
that's
step.
hard in today's economy. Like that's fucking,
That's 7%
Yeah.
right now.
that's brutal. 'Cause
Hurting
even
folks.
like after the military and everything like that, I have the VA loan. So if I wanted to, I could go and get a house right now. But the market's just so shit.
Oh,
that
yeah,
I,
it-
Yeah,
it's
that's
shit.
right.
I don't even want to yet. It's like I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for like a housing market collapse 2.0 to like hit before I
Yeah.
like double down on something. But
That's my
Yeah.
goal in the next 3 years, but I've been watching the market and that shit's
Yeah.
like crazy high right now.
yeah, it's insane.
I mean, it's all right.
Oh,
Man.
you're up, man. What
Oh,
you
I'm
got?
up?
What you
Okay.
got? Hitting with some like straight deep shit.
Oh, we can.
We can.
Should you be afraid of comfort? Why or why not?
Afraid of comfort? Honestly, I think comfort is fine for certain things and only for a specific amount of time. But I feel like if you're in that comfortability phase or like too comfortable for too long, you'll tend to like want to stay there and you'll never want to grow and improve on yourself. So I'd say no. I don't think it's acceptable to be comfortable for too long.
Okay.
I think like short term it's definitely fine and you should use that as kind of like a respite. Like say you're struggling through life and you finally get over that like hump or hurdle that you've wanted to. It's fine to take like a chill pill and just relax for a little bit, but I don't think it's fine to like just stay there. Cuz I think you should always be like trying to just improve on yourself mentally, physically, you know, whatever it might be that you want to at the time, but yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. And I think a lot of people in our society get too comfortable and they don't want to move anywhere.
That's facts.
So
That's straight facts.
I don't know. It's I don't know. It's a tricky one, but what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, what about you, Stedman?
I'd have to say, yeah, it's a thing that you don't want to like just sit in, man, because it's like you get comfortable in one area, you don't want to go to the next.
Yeah, I mean, like even like for instance, me like we're talking about it like comfortability and like certain emotions. Like I've gotten comfortable with being sad or like melancholic, and that's not a good thing because it like changes my brain chemistry to like always be in that kind of mode. And I notice that like sometimes if I'm like more happy or something like that, then I'll find like a way for my brain to like kind of like you get addicted to that emotion.
Yeah.
And you like want something to be sad about, even though there is nothing to be sad about. So it's like you have to like find ways to like snap yourself out of that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's yeah, like, you can find comfortability in literally anything. So
Hell yeah. Expand your horizon, man.
Absolutely.
It's the memo here, I guess.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'd
I'm
have
looking
to-
at you because
I don't know what he's talking about there. That's crazy, actually. Oh, but no, I agree with the not being comfortable for too long, but still allowing comfort. That's valid because you do need those times of relaxation, but then
yeah.
you also need to understand that there's another step you got to go up to. So being ready to get uncomfortable again is big for sure. So that's
Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
I'd say is like a really big thing. I think that's the only time comfortability would be good. But
man, how many times we heard that now, Wade? Like,
I don't know, at least once.
yeah, well, yeah, I know on one podcast we heard that, like, you know,
that's like a big saying in the military though. Like all the NCOs like always tell their junior soldiers and stuff, just be comfortable being uncomfortable, and you'll never be in a situation that you won't want to be in. I don't know. It's a weird expression, but
no, it's a good expression, man.
Yeah.
You know, because eventually that water will warm up, man. you
Another
know?
quote from the military is "Get your ass up."
yeah.
Shit.
But nah, I'm actually want to do a little background on how we met.
Oh, background.
Oh
okay.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be, from my understanding, it'd be in 7th grade PE. Yeah, gym class. It was we like just bonded over just video games and specifically Minecraft, and then
be.
as it should be. So I don't know. And then I think like 8th and 9th grade we didn't have any classes together, so we didn't really talk until we got back into like senior high school, and then kind of reconnected and stuff there. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've been homies since.
I got a question.
Okay.
What was that PE class like with Wade?
This is a completely different Wade, by the way.
I mean, we were both completely different back then.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we were both like really fucking super nerds. So, honestly, I don't really remember.
I just remember memeing a lot of.
Oh yeah, that's all we did. We just fucking memed
lot of-
24/7.
A lot of just stupid sexual jokes, you know,
Yeah.
as a teenage boy does.
Yep.
Oh man, that's fucking great.
Yeah, I know.
Great.
Oh man, ain't that some shit?
Yep.
Nah, I remember the first time I actually met, or at least knew of him, was back in science class in 7th grade.
In science class, okay.
Yeah, because I sat next to you were friends with her at the time. I don't know if you remember a person named Melissa.
Alyssa.
No, Melissa.
Oh, Melissa Pelletier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the name drop. But yeah,
You ever
no,
watch this?
I,
You just know.
No, she's cool. I always liked her.
Yeah. So I was always talking to her, and eventually we started talking, and then obviously we had the gym class together, and then
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
robotics.
I didn't think about that. Oh, robot.
Dude, what did we? I swear we had a game. We used to just sit on the computer just playing a damn game. What was it?
I don't know.
It was like a tower defense game, wasn't it?
I mean, there's Bloons Tower Defense.
Oh, I was just thinking that, man. Get
Was
those
it Bloons?
fucking monkeys.
No,
man.
I could have sworn it was like medieval with like catapults. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, I know. I'm trying to think because I know there's a game like that. I don't know. It was something,
Oh my
but
god, I remember.
I'm trying to think. I remember like Age of Empires where you had like the two sides that were like going at each other, and you had to like get points or like money based off of like
Maybe that's what it was.
killing your opponents, and then the more experience you'd get, you would like evolve. So you'd like go through evolutions of like being like cavemen, and then you get to like being knights, and then
still a caveman.
upgrade to like like fucking like army soldiers. And you remember that game?
Not really.
No,
I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest.
I'll pull it up after this and show you guys, but it was a
Alright, bet.
classic. But yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I got a question for you guys here.
Okay.
What is the most valuable life lesson that you learned from your parents?
From my parents. Oof.
He's over there laughing.
No, I'm laughing at what he was.
If you need a minute,
Yeah, I'm thinking.
yeah, I think he's got one.
I mean, I don't have one, but I do got a little story on him. You know, this kid has always been talking about going into the military. And we have a good friend whose dad was in the military, and when he was super fixated on joining, his dad would always go up to him and go, "Don't be a dumbass, dumbass." And I think that was a solid piece of advice.
Doesn't get better than that, I guess.
Oh man.
But oh shit.
Dude, when he first said that to me, I was so like taken aback. I'm like, where did this fucking come from? Yeah,
Now
no,
you get it though.
To a
Little
certain
bit.
extent. I think it was a good life experience though, but
Yeah.
not to track too far off of the
Yeah.
question. So I don't know. I would say it's not really like a lesson that they per se taught me, but it's just something that I observed through both of my parents that it's like you don't want to do anything in life half-assed because it's like if you're going to go through the lengths of trying to do something, you might as well put 100% of your effort into it. And, you know, at least then you'll get some fruit of your labors in return. And on top of it, I would definitely say helping each other out whenever you possibly can, regardless if it's like something that would be detrimental to yourself. I think just there's not a lot of goodness going around in the world nowadays, and we should just strive to always help each other out no matter what way we possibly can. So
That's fucking solid, man. 110%.
Yeah, no, that's valid. That's valid as fuck.
so
But I mean, it's all right.
yeah, no, but back onto the military thing after I answer the question. I think it was an experience, I'll just say that, but I think honestly it was a good one because I learned who I was at a core, or like at my core, I should say, and I definitely gained a lot of confidence and I'm able to carry myself because I just know one what I'm more capable of doing, but also that in life I'm in charge of all my actions, and no matter what, like even if somebody tells me to go and do something or whatever, like you know I'm in keeping of myself. So a king can move a pawn basically, but a man is still in charge of his actions. So it's kind of like just something that I learned from the military. So
If you ain't catch that, rewind that a few seconds and catch it again. But I got a follow up question
like,
about
comment,
that,
and
man.
subscribe, so make sure you watch it again.
Hell yeah.
facts.
So look, for somebody who's looking to get into the military, what piece of
Okay.
advice would you give them?
I would say probably the same thing that my dad told me before I originally joined was that. So originally I just wanted to go in and be like straight infantry because I thought that that was like the whole experience and everything. But he explained to me because he was in the military prior, so he knew all about it, and he taught me that like basically you don't want to go in because, or like to do. I mean, if you want to do infantry, go and do infantry, but you want to go in and choose a job, or they call them MOSs, that you're going to in turn be able to use for real world experiences.
Okay.
So like for my instance, I wanted to go into the medical field for school, but I didn't know where I wanted to go because there's umpteen million fields in medicine. So I used the military as a kind of like an excuse, but also as a way for me to like kind of get my foot in the door of medicine. And I joined as a medic, and I was lucky enough to get into a special forces unit, and they sent me through a paramedic program where I got to basically do a bunch of rotations in a hospital that was in North Carolina, and I essentially got to experience all the fields in medicine in like a broad term, and I realized that I didn't like any of them other than the rehabilitation side, because I was so used to being in like emergency medicine where when you're treating a patient, it's their worst day in life. And that was always super shitty and I didn't really enjoy it. So my thought process was like, well, if I go into rehabilitation and like physical therapy, then it's a lot better because I don't have to deal with them on their worst day. They've already went through all that, you know, whatever it was, like surgery afterwards. And now I just had to get them back to full strength of where they were originally. So it's a lot easier mentally in my mind. So that's kind of the whole entire thing. And then also I was going through a lot back in North Carolina within like the past couple years, and I started to fall in love with the gym. And so it kind of like branched my love with like medicine and the human body. So
Solid,
that's kind
man.
of where I'm at. But yeah,
It's fucking solid. How many years did you do in the
four
military? Okay.
4 years. Yeah. Yep.
Long time, man. They buzzed your melon, right?
Yeah, they did. That was not good.
No, my favorite is the picture the picture they took of him after what it was like 4 days of staying up straight.
Oh,
Oh my
man.
That's what
god.
they did. They you get your military photo
Yeah,
after
so
staying
like
up.
so in basic training, like when you're so I went to I don't even know how to like describe it, but it was 120th AG, which is like the unit that you go to before you're processed and then sent to your actual basic training.
Mm-hmm.
And like the first 4 days, you're just constantly processing of like getting your equipment, signing up like on a shit ton of like finance things, like doing all this paperwork stuff. And there's like basically no time to sleep during all of it because they're like fast tracking you to like get you to like your actual basic training unit. So the whole entire time, like you do not sleep at all. So it was like 4 days straight of no sleep, and oh my god, it was insane. Like you'd be standing in line and you'd literally fall asleep just standing straight up, and then like drill sergeants would be like walking past and they would like just be fucking screaming at you and wake you up and shit. But yeah, it's fucking. It was not a good experience. Honestly, I think they call it reception, but I think reception is like the worst experience out of everything in the military.
Damn,
Because like
man.
basic was ass, but at least like in the beginning your like mentality is like all hoo-ah. Like you're like fuck yeah, I'm doing this, I'm the military, so it makes it a lot
I'm
easier.
him.
Exactly. And then on top of that you're like surrounded by a bunch of like-minded people that are all in the thick of it together, so it's like it's a whole different experience. But yeah, I would say reception was without a doubt the worst experience in the military I've had. So yeah, and it was only like 1 week, and it still stands out to me that much. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So
man. I could only imagine fucking hiking and shit through the rain and all that, man.
oh yeah, there's some. Oh my god, there's some like bad days where like So basically, the way how the basic training is like cut up, it's like across. Typically, it's 10 weeks long, but I went in November, so I had block leave to go back home during Christmas, which was not a good thing, honestly. I think because it's like you go through it's red, white, and blue phase. So it's like 3 weeks for red phase, and then 3 weeks for white phase, and then 3 weeks for blue phase, and then the final week is victory phase. But yeah, so like I basically went through red phase, which is like the most intense like part of basic, where it's all about like discipline, and you're basically just getting the dog shit smoked out of you 24/7. Like you could do everything right and you're still getting smoked. But it's just like that's like one of their lessons that like they teach you is that like sometimes you're just gonna get fucked up no matter what. So it's like it's a whole different culture over there. But so I basically went through red phase and then finished that and then got sent back home for 2 weeks for Christmas and then had to go back to basic. So it was brutal. But and then I came back in white phase, which was basically just the range. But in each different phase, there's like one culminating exercise where it's like you're rucking and marching out in the woods and you're sleeping outside for like multiple days. And they have you go through like certain training events. And then it's like kind of like check the box, like, okay, the soldier did these things, he's passed on all these events, and it's like eligible to move on to the next phase. And the red phase, the final exercise is called the forge, where you're out there for, I don't even remember how long it was, but I think it was like 4 days and 4 nights. But you start off by marching, and I think in total, like, you march up to like, I know some people were saying that we did like 40 miles in total of marching across like the first 2 days. So it's basically like close to like 100 miles of marching that you do in total. But the whole entire time, like the way how the military works is that during the day, we build up like our fighting positions and we stay in one place. And then at nighttime, we move because we're like one of the only countries in the world that has predominantly night vision capabilities.
Sound like the
Where
immigrants.
they're,
I'm like, what?
My people, when they try to get into the U.S., bro. Don't move during the day. Only go at night.
He said, "My people." Somebody
oh,
clip that.
ladies and gentlemen, we got them. But
I'm going National Guard now.
Oh man.
But yeah, no. So it's like we're the only conventional military in the world that has night vision capabilities for all their soldiers. So they try to train us at like an early stage of our military career that the only time you're moving is during the night because all the other forces of like the enemy military will be asleep essentially during that time. So the only time you'd move is during the night. So all night long you're rucking and moving, and then just as like sunlight would come up, we would stop and like set up a position and then stay there during the day. And then during the day, that's when the enemy attacks. So the whole entire time while you're on the exercises, the drill instructors and stuff like that would constantly be like having like fake attack scenarios. So during the whole entire day, you're up basically defending your fob or like your little base, and then the night you're constantly moving. So it's like another one of those situations where you don't get any sleep,
24
and you're always fucking moving. So it's like there are instances where you would like. I know one of my buddies, like my battle buddy, literally noticed that when we were rucking, I had passed out while we were rucking, and I just continued to keep walking forward while I was asleep. And there are instances where like people were like so sleep deprived where they would like look out into the woods and they'd see like fucking random people out there or like whatever, like people would just be tripping. Like, yeah, it was fucking bad.
You need to be sleep deprived to see that?
Yeah. If you go 4 days and 4 nights without sleep, yeah, you'll start
I
hallucinating.
think you missed the joke.
Oh. Oh my god. This motherfucker. But yeah, no, so
I caught that. I said, shut up, Rick.
You don't see
Yeah.
my friend Roger over here?
Fuck
well,
no.
you can see him too.
Be out
Yeah,
here
no,
like, yeah,
so-
go away, Roger.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Damn. Yeah, that military shit's crazy.
Yeah,
Did you have a
crazy.
question?
Do I have a question? No, I was just gonna ask you, like, if you were to go to the military, like, where would you go? Air Force,
Me?
Navy, yeah. Because
Oh,
he
you gotta
was
go
already.
Air Force. You gotta go Air Force.
I do?
Dude, it's so much better than anything else. Like the way that they live.
Oh, I heard. Was it you saying, whenever they had to, like, go on
Deployments.
deployments
Yeah,
and
their
stuff?
deployments, quote unquote, they weren't even deployments. They'd get like 5-star hotels that they would stay in and all sorts of shit, and then they would just stay on like their airfield, and they like
Sign me
unless
up,
you're
Tom Cruise.
no, literally unless you're like actually like a pilot or like part of the flight crew for the most part, like
Oh.
you are pretty fucking chill. Like you are not doing shit realistically. So it's like, yeah, no, if Air Force would be the way. And then their PT standards are like so fucking minute. Like I think like within like the last year of me getting out, they had just changed the PT standards for the Air Force, and I think like they changed it where normally you'd have to go and run like a 2 minute mile or like not 2 minute mile, a 2 mile pace,
I was gonna say
two
2 minutes.
2 mile run and like a certain pace. But they changed it where you can go and do a 1 mile run, or you could even go and do a 1 mile bike ride event. So you can literally just get on like a fucking bike and then ride a mile within a certain time and you'd pass.
What, bro?
Yeah, no, they're super fucking lax.
That's
So
solid.
I would say,
Easy entry.
yeah, no, 100%. I would
say
say like
infantry.
don't do fucking Marines unless you're all about that life, because they're fucking insane.
Trying to be part of the SEAL Team 6, but that's only what I see on video games.
SEAL
Bravo
Team
6,
and
we're
you gotta
going
go,
dark.
You gotta go Navy, but there's a big stigma about the Navy about all them being gay. I don't know if I can say
Oh.
that, but
Hey, man, they just like semen on their poop deck.
exactly. So I don't know. The Navy is
Yeah, if that's true, I am not there, man. I go
Yeah.
the other direction. I was like, yeah, I quit.
that's pretty much just like Army or Air
Come on, bro,
Force.
you be getting lonely down in that submarine.
Hey, man.
Down bad, you be seeing her. You be seeing.
And all the most attractive women that I've seen in the service were all Air Force. So
Ah.
Hi guys, I'm enlisting tonight.
that's facts. So
Is it my turn for a question or is it yours?
I believe it's mine actually.
Yeah, it is
So,
yours.
You know, you're talking a lot about how, you know, growing up, you learn to want to be disciplined and help other people.
right.
And going into the military and the medical field, you realize that you enjoy helping others. So my question for you is, as a human being, what is one thing we can do to help each other's lives?
Ooh.
That's solid.
I would say just be willing to talk to everybody, because I think like the only thing that differentiates humanity from all the other species on the planet is what's between our eyes. And I think just our logic, just in general, like, human, like, we have a certain lifespan and we're going to die and we lose everything that we had in our life. It depends on like your religion or whatever you believe in
Mm-hmm.
if you move on past that. But for the most part, everybody that stays on this earth, if somebody dies, everything that they own or have just goes away. So I think the most that we can do for humanity in general is just carry on the knowledge that we learn in our life. And whenever somebody talks to us, just if they're willing to listen, just give them, information on like your life lessons. So that way they can learn from your mistakes and move forward and not make the same mistakes that you made. But
1,000%. That's fucking solid as shit.
what about you, Stephen?
Um, damn.
I don't know. I just work here.
Give me the question again, man.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
What's something that you can do to help other people?
So
Shit, something
okay,
that I
you
could
wanna
do
say that
to
in the
help
mic?
other people.
What's something you can do to help other people? In a broad term, I guess, but yeah.
yeah.
Man, what I usually like to do, man, is just like a listening ear, like you were saying,
Yeah.
man. Sometimes just talking to people, just seeing what's going on, man. If you want to talk about it, we could talk about it. If
Yeah.
not, it's cool because not everybody has somebody to listen to them, like. Or people think that people don't care about their opinion. It's like, hey, man, you're valued. You matter to somebody. It may not be to me, but, but you do matter,
You don't
man.
matter
but,
to me.
But I'll
I'm
definitely
scared.
listen, man, because it only takes like 5 minutes to hear what somebody has
Yeah.
to say, and it's like if I could do that for you, and that lightens your day a little bit, then cool, man.
I think, yeah, going more on that, I think that's something that men need to work on more. Because, like, if you look at women and their relationships, they're always, like, super emotionally available with each other and they're always willing to talk about their problems. But when it comes to men, I think in society we're raised to the point where, we're supposed to be alphas and we're not supposed to show emotion. And, you're supposed to be the man, quote unquote. So we don't really have a support system built up. Exactly. So it's like, because I know, like, when I was out in North Carolina and I was dealing with a bunch of shit, I got pretty close to taking my life because I thought that there was nobody that I could talk to because all my family was on the other side of the country. And, Wade including, because he's pretty much my family at this point. But because honestly, he's the only person that I talk to with all of this shit. So he knows what I'm talking about. But,
Barony.
dude, literally. So,
Barely.
I don't know, it just got pretty bad because it's like I didn't feel like I could go and talk to my chain of command because it would get too political at that point. And they were not really my friends at that point because I wasn't really close to them until after all this stuff happened and I got closer to them. But yeah, so it's like I didn't feel like I could talk to anybody. So I was just bottling up all my emotions and it just got really bad. And so I think that's like something that us as men, we can do better with is just being willing to like listen to each other and talk because it's like it's just not worth it. Like we're losing so many young men nowadays to shit that we shouldn't, and it's depressing. So
I'm here to tell you, man. I'm glad you made it.
yeah, me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, honestly.
There's always somebody to talk to, man, whether you
Exactly.
believe it or not.
So
How about you, Wade?
Damn. I don't even remember my own question. That shit got too deep.
It did get deep. It did get deep.
At least 6 inches. I'm just kidding.
6 inches. That's a lot.
Whoa, I didn't say I had. I said it. I was just. Hold on.
want 6?
Yeah, I
Whoa.
wish, dude. A 3 on a good day. I'm emotionally unavailable right now.
Aren't we all?
Like 2 fucking peas in a pot.
What? Oh.
Huh?
Oh.
What are you selling?
Anyways, no, I'd say if you're knowledgeable in a certain aspect of life or career path and somebody's asking for your advice, be willing to give it. A lot of people are exclusive to themselves and closed off and don't
100%.
want to share advice. And I feel like if you have knowledge in a certain field that most people don't have, I think it should be a moral obligation to help others around you with that information.
You ever given advice to somebody and they ran the complete opposite way with your advice?
Yeah.
I mean, that's happened, but at the end of the day, you know, as long as I still did my
Yep.
diligence, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're right. I used to think like, what the fuck did you ask for my advice for?
Oh no, I know it's like beating a dead horse, but um, yeah, literally,
So
what can you
I've
do?
got thought processes on that. So because for the most part, usually people come to me about like relationship advice. I don't know why, because I've never really had a good or successful relationship. So it's kind of like one of those things where like the coach doesn't play. But you know, like people come to me and ask for advice because I'm sitting outside, like I'm on the sidelines, and it's a lot easier to perceive everything that's happening from on the sidelines. But I'll give them all the information and exactly what they should do, and 9 out of 10 times it comes out to play exactly how I said it was going to. But they don't listen to my advice or they don't take it and actually move forward with it.
No,
But I think it's just one of those things where it's most people learn off of experiences rather than actually taking it in and listening and then moving forward with it. So it's like, yeah, it's like still good to be there and give them the information so that they can try to make the right decision. But the most part, it's just experiences, and then I don't know, people are just gonna be people, you know. So
You're damn right about
yeah, I
that.
feel like I've never had shots fired at me so hard in my life.
and that is,
It's, I'm not gonna lie, bro. At the beginning of everything, Seven,
I think
Coach played. Coach
Yeah.
told me the plays.
Yeah.
And I
I've
still
experienced-
fumbled with the ball.
because I experienced.
And I still fumbled with the ball.
I've had the same experience before, so I saw the fucking writing on the wall, and I told you word for word, bar for bar, how it was gonna go, and it played out. So
Man was running down the field blind, man. I really.
it was the blind
I
leading the blind.
thought I was him, and I had butter on my gloves.
Yep. Yep.
Back of his jersey said Timothy.
Oh man.
Oh, all right.
Something to laugh at now.
Oh yeah. That's what it's all about. But now you can pass on that experience too. So
And watch somebody do the same.
exactly. It's a domino effect. It just keeps on going.
What's something you will never do?
Something I will never do. Ooh, see, I don't like saying these kind of things because honestly, I don't know if I will ever. I don't know. I gotta think.
What about you, Wade? You got something off the top of the dome?
No, I don't have something off the top of the dome. I need to think on it. What about you?
Something I'd probably never do is swim with sharks. I see people do that, and I'm like, yeah,
Are you talking like in the cage, or just
yeah,
like free swimming?
You're just both, man. I think because
shit,
I'm like, you know, in the cage. I don't know how secure that cage is, you know. And then I don't know. I just feel like maybe the fucking hoist won't pull me up or some shit, and I'll be fucking trapped down there. But yeah.
I would. Ooh, that made me start thinking.
No, literally.
Yeah, like imagine, man, if the hoist didn't come up and it snapped and you just fucking sink into the bottom at that point.
Yeah, I would say honestly, probably going into like a submarine, especially after with what's the one that just recently?
Oh, Ocean Gate.
Yeah, I think like the ocean terrifies me honestly. Like that's like because I don't know what the statistics are, but like we know more about the
Space.
stars and space than we do
The ocean.
the ocean.
Yeah.
Like that just terrifies me. And I don't know, cause like being in the military, like I jumped out of fucking planes and like I was perfectly fine with that, but like something about fucking the ocean just like creeps me the fuck out. Like
Dude.
it's just
I heard a thing that it was like there was something going on and that was like a cover up for what was going on, but I don't know. I don't know if that's.
you want to get into it?
Yeah, I do. I do. Let me go piss quick though.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. Okay. So something.
All right,
I
we're
would
about to
never-
get into conspiracies though.
I guess so. So would you figure out something you never do?
Something I would never do.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a hard one, honestly. I don't know.
It is.
Like I could get super
Oh,
deep with it,
I
but I
know.
could also be like super surface level.
I know. I would never do hardcore drugs like DMT.
Oh yeah.
I would. That's horrifying. As much as that intrigues me and I'm interested in it about the whole psychedelics of life and whatnot, like that just seems blissful but still scary. I mean, because DMT
Yeah.
releases when you die, So now you're gonna mess around with a chemical that is only supposed to release when you die.
Yeah, I don't know. I would just say probably just drugs in general. Like, I I think weed's like probably the most I'll ever do if I ever do anything in my life. But like anything past that, I would say is a no go, just because I'm pretty controlling with my character, and I don't really like the thought of like I don't even like getting drunk, honestly, just because I'm like afraid of the fact that like I lose control of myself, and I don't really know what I'm gonna do in
I
that
get
situation.
that.
You know what I mean?
I
So
get
it's like,
that. Yeah, I don't know how people.
yeah,
Wow, it's almost like
that's why we're fucking
it's
homies.
almost like that's why we're good friends.
So
Because yeah, no, literally, because I don't know how people can be out at the clubs, getting blacked out drunk and being okay with that, just letting their world go willy nilly. It's
Yeah.
like, what? How can you be okay waking up the next day not knowing what you did?
literally, and then you have to hear from your friends or people that like, oh, you did this and this and this, and you're like, what the fuck? Or like, because like there's always a thing or like the saying where it's like drunk sayings or sober thoughts. You know what I mean? So it's a I don't know, it's a bad situation. Especially like when I was in North Carolina, there was this girl that I was fucking with pretty heavy, and she got super down into like doing weed and stuff, and it got to the point where like
I'm
she
sorry.
would
Can I just comment? I love how you say weed.
well, okay, weed, whatever, pot, Mary do you wanna, whatever you want to
Maybe
call
do
it.
you want?
Where
What?
do you want?
Fucking.
That's
I'm
a new
stealing
one.
that.
Yeah, I've never heard
You've
that.
never heard that?
No.
But no, so she was like a fucking ganja goddess, basically, where she.
Whoa,
That's
she was
another
the-
one.
She was the Incredible Hulk. She was
Yeah,
greened out.
no, literally, she honestly was, but it's like no, like shade thrown at her. Like she was a good person and everything, but it got to the point where I think she was dealing with a lot of her own issues, and the only way for her to like kind of deal with them was through weed. So it was like she would wake up in the morning and she would smoke, and then
Pot
during
for
the day
breakfast.
she'd be like smoking, and then before work she'd have to smoke. After work she'd have to smoke. You know, she was like constantly high 24/7, and it got to the point where I didn't even recognize her as a person because she was somebody else completely. Like she was high 24/7, so it's just like I could never. I don't know. That kind of just threw me off completely from drugs because beforehand she was completely normal and she would smoke like every once in a while, and she was trying to like coerce me once I got out of the military to do it, and I was close to doing it with her, but I never did. And after seeing her go through that whole entire like spiral, it just threw me off completely from all that because it's like I don't really want to find out how that shit is, especially because it doesn't seem like it's worth it to me. Because if I do end up liking it and get addicted, then it's like I don't want to go down that life path. So I've made it this far in life without it. I feel like I could just continue on. I'm not going to throw shade at people for doing it because it's like I completely understand why you do it, but it's just not something for me.
Literally.
So
And my little 2 cents on that is literally it's when you start to get into that stuff, and then it'll creep up on you. You're sitting there,
Yeah.
you think you have control over the situation, but then one day it's gonna happen where it's just like, oh, I use this for this specific thing, and oh, I kind of like that, and the next thing you know, you're using it as substance abuse.
Yep.
And that's what's horrifying is trying to mitigate it at the beginning because it's a lot easier to see the picture when you see the picture versus trying. I don't even know where the fuck I was going with that. I'm not gonna lie.
Grab you
But-
like the sleep monster.
No, I get it, but
But you kind of understand what I'm saying.
yeah, no. So like, I don't really have a train of thought on that, but honestly, like for instance, like knowing where she's at now, like she got super into like shrooms and a bunch of stuff. So I think it's like,
What the fuck were those eyes for, bro?
so I don't know. It's like it's not. It's a gateway drug. It's not physically addictive, but it's definitely mentally
I don't
addictive.
even know what that was about.
And it just, if you just keep using it, eventually you're going to build a tolerance and you have to keep using more. And it'll get to the point where you're like not satiated by what it gives you anymore. So you'll have to start going into like deeper paths, and then you start getting into harder and harder drugs. And then,
It's like me off my 900 milligrams of caffeine.
yeah, so fucking.
That's my fucking big thing is caffeine, bro. Holy fuck.
I used to be pretty bad when I was in the military, but that's because I had to. And now I'm like, I'll have one energy drink a day and I'll probably just chill at that. But
I think I'm at 600 right now.
I was at like 1200 when I was in the Navy.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
he said
that was
a
fucking-
gram.
Yeah, it was
Gram.
bad. So
Okay.
now I'm only doing, I don't know, probably like 200
So
a
let's
day.
sink this ship and let's talk about the submarine.
Yeah, I was just
that
about
was
to
a good one.
ask
That was a
about
good-
that, man. Because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if he told you, but I'm a little bit of a history. I wouldn't say
Nerd.
junkie, but yeah, I'm
Okay,
really
that's
into
cool.
that shit.
I am too. So
But yeah, what do you think, man? You like think that was a hoax, or you think it was a real?
I honestly don't even know because it's it was pretty fucking memey, honestly. Like if you look at the equipment that they were running, it was like a fucking like old video game controller to like control everything. And then the submersible, because it was what the Titan submersible is what they called it. It was like already it was rated for like a certain depth, but it was only rated to go down that deep like a certain amount of times. And they'd already like gone past that threshold basically numerous times before. So it's like this thing wasn't rated for what it was supposed to do anymore. And then all these people were like, this was like, it was billionaires, right, that were on it. Yeah, it was like, so it makes no sense. And like, if you have that much money, why couldn't you just go and buy or at least rent or use like a real fucking submarine
Exactly.
other than some fucking piece of shit janky thing that some like basically us three could fucking build.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then I can't even remember because they used like carbon fiber like weaving for like from what they were saying for like the innards, but like everybody in the science realm knows that if you're gonna have a submersible, you don't use carbon fiber. I can't remember exactly what it was for, but they said that like with like the water pressure, it like impacts the carbon fiber weaving like a certain way that it like basically just fucking like
Shatters.
crumples it. Like
Yeah.
so, it's like they literally did everything in the fucking playbook wrong, and yeah, so I don't know. It's sus. It's sus.
Yeah, man. I like. There's a few people that I know that have been in the military. They're like, oh yeah, man. They're like, there's things they can put out there, like,
Oh, yeah.
that they don't want people to see. So they're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
put this in front of your eyes. You know?
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, that's the other thing. And then like I can't. This is like a while ago that it happened now, but I remember when it was like happening that they had like multiple vessels that were like out in the water that were like using like sonar to ping for it. And I can't remember who it was, but one of the ships found or like reported pings of like the explosion wreckage like super in advance of like when it actually happened. And then it finally came out in reports later that like, oh, it died on this date, but it didn't match up with the reports of like the sonar pings. So it's like there's so many like different cross references that don't add up to any of it. And it was like a lot of people were speculating that it was like a detractor where it's like I can't remember what was going on at the time, but there was like something in politics that was like supposed to be released or announced, and then all of a sudden all this like fucking Ocean Gate like scandal happened, and they use it as like a cover up to detract the populace because it's like, first off, why would I as a fucking regular Joe Blow give a fuck about 10 people? Like, yeah, it's shitty that they died, but like 10 people that I have no fucking clue who they are
Exactly.
die.
Just out of nowhere, man. Like,
It's
what?
like, why would I care? And that's like all the news channels would cover for like weeks.
Yep.
And it's like,
Yep.
yeah. And it's like the same thing with like, it's like a whole shitty situation about like the Israel Hamas war. Like it was all about like Ukraine and Russia. And then as soon as the Israel Hamas war came up, the Ukraine thing just disappeared off the face of the earth. Like
Yep.
nobody talks about it anymore. It's like they just want like, I don't know, the news media just wants you to like consume information, not to get like super into it. I don't know, but yeah, they just
Kind
want
of
you to.
follow-up question.
Okay,
Oh, he's
have
excited.
you seen the movie Leave the World Behind
Isn't that the new one?
on Netflix?
No, I have not. Is that the one about Leave the World Behind? I'm trying to think of which one that is. Because there's the one that just came out about the Civil War, right?
Yeah, there is one of those.
Which
but
was made by Obama, which is fucking crazy.
Sorry,
but-
can I just
So-
comment real quick?
Oh, yeah.
I love the podcast contradictory real quick. When we're talking about the beginning, we're like, yeah, listen to people. You all matter. Oh, 10 billionaires are dead. I don't give a fuck about them.
But I mean, it's hard to explain. But like if I know you, I care about
No,
you. But
I
like,
know,
if
but
I
I just-
don't know, yeah, I don't know.
I just thought that.
Yeah. No, I get it. But yeah, I don't know. So, no, but what was the Leave the World Behind one about?
So basically, just to sum it all up, like the U.S. gets attacked by like it's either Chinese or like the Koreans or whatever,
Okay.
and it's like a cyber attack. So they shut down all the satellites or whatever. So it basically turns into a civil war between the civilization of the U.S.
Okay.
So like everybody starts to turn on each other. They hack Tesla and they fucking close off all the highways by crashing Teslas all into each other.
Oh, okay.
And you know some wild shit that I seen the other day? Because there's a Tesla dealership, on the way to my house. There's all the Teslas, like, hazard lights were just going off. Like,
Factory reset.
middle of the night. Just
That's the
wild.
other thing that's crazy. Like, there are certain instances, like I watch TikTok a lot, but back at like a couple years ago when
beacon has
Tesla
summoned.
was like getting popular, there was a guy who owned a Tesla, but he like I can't remember what the fuck he did, but he was like basically like hacking into the software and like trying to change things. And Elon Musk saw the video, and he basically like locked him out of his own car, so he couldn't use it. So it's like think about that, like the fact that you go and buy this vehicle so it's yours, but then the guy who is like the CEO or Tesla themselves can just lock you out of it. It's
Yeah.
fucking insane.
Yeah,
It's like
Ferrari did something like that because there was a wide body that they offered for him, and they're like, "Oh, if you put the wide body in the car, we're gonna come and confiscate it."
yeah, literally. It's
It was
like,
like Deadmau5 with making his the cat Rari or whatever, you know.
oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
He had a whole.
It's insane, like how these companies can like get away with this shit. You know, it's like
Yeah.
because you're buying that product, it is now legally yours. But I guess not in today's society. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man,
Nothing's truly yours.
It was fucking wild to say the least, because it was like nobody knew what was going on. There was no communication, no cellular service. They fucking took all the I don't know what the planes use to like fucking see what planes are in the air or whatever the fuck, but they
Oh, the air traffic controllers.
yeah,
with
they shut all that shit down too, and
So
it was,
planes are just flying blind.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
and
Yeah.
fucking ended up crashing into the fucking sea and shit, and it was wild, man, because I'm like that could actually happen.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Just watch it, man. If you
My
ever get the
follow-up
time.
question is: do you think that they prime human beings for events? So like that movie,
Yeah,
priming you mentally.
bruh. I'm a firm believer in like, when they come up with movies, like this shit is just not like something that they just thought of. Like this
Yeah.
is some shit that like
I think it's all planned, honestly. I think it's
Exactly.
like all because there's like okay, so there's like certain countries and stuff that are in power, but they just hold the power because of like the specific families that are at the top of society that own all the money because they loan it out to all these countries. Because it's like, for instance, like the Ukraine war, the U.S. was giving all this money to Ukraine, but if you actually look into the financials, they're financing Russia at the same time. So it's like a two-front war where we're profiting on both sides. So it's like it's the same situation where you have like all these super old money families like the Rothschilds and like all those motherfuckers that are just at the top of society that have all the money and they control society and they just do whatever they want. And that's why like the whole Pizzagate scandal is kind of a big thing right now because my theory is that if you're a person in that kind of like position of power where you literally control the whole entire world, you don't get off on anything anymore because literally everything is available to you. So I think the only thing that they get off on is the fact of like doing stuff that's socially deemed immoral. So it's like that's why all these celebrities and politicians and stuff are all into these like scandals. But then also at the same time, if you have like half of them that are already indoctrinated, they're going to force the other half into it by blackmailing them. So I feel like some of them might actually be good people, but they're just like forced into that shitty situation. But I mean, if you're going to partake in it regardless, like you're still a shitty person. So
Yep.
I don't know. It's a weird situation, but no, like the whole Civil War movie that Obama just made, I think is honestly like a prime example of like priming people because it's like, look at what's happening with like the election on like how Colorado and Maine just barred Trump from being able to vote in office. Like, regardless if you disagree with like a person's political view on like who should be president, I think it sets a really shitty precedence because it's like the law states that the only way somebody can be barred from running for office is if they don't meet like the criteria for like age and stuff like that. But on top of it, it was like if he conducted acts of treason. And it's like, okay, that makes sense because, Trump was like partaking in like the January 8th or whatever kind of shit that was happening. But he's also in a court hearing right now for it, and he hasn't been actually found guilty for it. So it's like they're banning him from preemptively banning him. So it's like if it actually goes through before he actually gets fined or like found guilty, then it sets a shitty precedence where in the future, if anybody wants to run for office, say like, I'll just use an example, like say I'm a Democrat and I want this person to come in as a Democrat, I can basically just say, like, if I'm a fucking judge or whatever, like, oh, I'm gonna ban this Republican who's like the runner up from running in office. And it's like, then at that point, there's no elections that are truly realistic or like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it just sets a shitty precedent. And I think, honestly, it's just pushing, like, the two-party system is like just a shithole. And I think it's just forcing people against each other, even though we, the people, should be united against the people at the top without getting too political into it. But,
I mean, isn't that one of the big things in like most war books is divide and conquer?
exactly. So, but yeah, no, so I think it's setting us like a super shitty precedent. And I think moving forward, if it actually does go through, a lot of the people that are Republicans are going to oust the American government by saying, like, oh, well, this election isn't a legit one because you guys are barring the person that I want to be able to run as a candidate. And it'll just, like, if say Biden gets reelected, all the Republicans will probably end up like rioting or revolting or whatever, and then boom, just like that, the U.S. has a fucking civil war, and it's like it's fucking shit. And then like it's to the point where I think a civil war is like it's going to happen.
On
I
the
don't know
verge.
when. It's on the verge. Like I think it's gonna happen. I don't know when, and I would like for it to not happen because like I don't want a lot of people to fucking die for shitty reasons. But at the same time, it's like coming from like just my experience in the military, it's not even on like the level that like the Civil War is bad. It's the fact that the US is like the world's police force. So if we have a lot of issues that we're dealing with back home, for instance, the Civil War, we leave a huge power vacuum in the world because we'll pull everybody back to the States, and the rest of the world, like all the fucking evil people like Russia,
It's their time
quote
to jump.
unquote, yeah, it's their time to jump. So it's like it just makes a shitty situation for the world, and I don't think the world is ready for it. So
Man, I've thought about this many, many times, and I'm like, nah, I'm not crazy. This shit is real. Cause I look into the
100%, yeah.
shit, and I'm like, no, think about this on a timeline. We had the instance where George Floyd passed away. People are uproaring in Minnesota against the police. The police are. I don't know if you've seen that, but like, that shit
See,
was
I wasn't
crazy.
here. I wasn't in Minnesota during that
Man,
time. So
I don't know if you saw any of that, but that shit was
actually,
crazy.
Didn't go to work because I had to go work on Summit Avenue.
Oh,
So I was like,
shit.
I'm not going to work.
so
was that when you
would've-
were with Royal still, or okay.
Yeah, so I would have been right by all that.
man, it was fucking wild. Banks getting burned down. They burnt down the precinct in
crazy,
Minneapolis.
yeah.
They fucking raided Targets, raided
I
and
just
it was
started taking
like
shit on the sidewalk.
just fucking
No, I'm just kidding.
police
What?
versus fucking the civilization, and then there's fucking rubber bullets getting shot into houses and shit. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, it was fucking wild. It was wild.
It's like
Yeah.
a battle royale.
Yeah, and then we get to the scale of the Capitol getting fucking ran through, man. And I'm like, what
Yep.
the fuck is
And
going
National
on before my
Guard being
man?
deployed
Yeah,
and all that shit. Yeah, it was insane.
Man, I'm like,
Because I was so basically my unit being in North Carolina, we were on like the global response force. So the National Guard got called out, and our unit almost got called in as like a backup to get sent over there because we were attached to like so I was in a civil affairs unit, so we were support for the 82nd, which is an airborne unit. So they almost got sent out there, and if they got sent out, then we would go as their support. So it's like, yeah, it was fucking, yeah, it's insane.
yeah, and I think, man, this has been on the plot for a little bit
Yeah,
now. Like,
it definitely has.
like
It's like Black Ops 2. Like, what was it? 2025 was the when all that shit happened. The Black Ops, man.
Good thing we got our hours in on it.
yeah,
Yo, what load are you running?
Yes.
Oh man.
I'm running the
Okay,
the
ooh,
Himothy
I got it.
loadout.
I got a question for you guys then. So let's say a civil war does break out. What within like the first few hours? What are you doing? Like, what's your plan?
I'm getting the go bag, man.
Okay, the
I've
bug
been,
out bag,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been working on that for a little bit.
Okay, valid.
Yeah, and I also told my family, I was like, hey, you guys need to watch this movie. Yo, dude, I'm telling them this in the house, and I'm like, stock up on water, get fucking canned foods, shit like that.
Dude, the one thing that I've seen recently is that like it was a really good tip, honestly, is that, like if the power and all that shit does go out and it's going to be for a long-term scenario and you're going to like decide to hunker down and stay in place at your house, you can like close all the drains on all your like sinks and like bathtubs and just fill it up because that's going to be sterile
Yep,
potable
yep,
water.
yep.
And you'll actually have water for a decent amount of time. So it's like,
That was in the movie. Dude did that. He was
Oh, he
like,
did?
they were like,
Okay.
what are you doing? And he's like clogging the bathtub, filling it up
yeah,
with water. And he
yeah,
was like,
that's
"You
a
can
really
drink
good strat. Yeah.
that." Yeah.
You can drink it. And even as shitty as it would be, toilet water is still sterile, clean water. So if y'all have some nasty
Pun
toilets,
intended.
if you all have some nasty toilets, scrub that shit out. It might save you.
Oh fuck yeah, man. Fuck. I'd
Buy
be
yourself a
calling
light
people.
shot. Leave it in the fucking top lid of the toilet.
I'd be making phone calls, man. I'm like, hey, we gotta rally together here, man.
Yeah.
You know, the more of us, the better. You know.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
at the same
See,
time,
I've thought about it too because I think like us just being like our location on like geography wise are super blessed because it's like if something like that does happen, we can drive. Like this is an instance like if the vehicles are still working, we can drive multiple hours up north, and we'll be in the northern wilderness, and you can literally just fucking hunt and fish and survive up there for the rest of your life and just never even be seen.
hell
So
yeah.
it's like I think
Story of
honestly
my
that's
life, even without war.
no, literally. So I think that would be like my plan is just to like find everybody that is like near and dear to me and then try to get them to like coerce them to go with me. But at the end of the day, like if they want to stay, they can stay. But I would probably just fucking hit the road and go up north, like honestly to the fucking boundary waters and just live up there and yeah, just fucking survive like the olden days.
I had a conversation with one guy, and he was like, shit breaks out, we end up going to World War III. You know him. You wanting to get him on for a while.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, I thought he was, just talking bullshit, man. He's like,
Oh,
I would
yeah.
go to the center of the eye of the storm. And I was like, where's that? He's like, to the cities.
Fuck
And-
that.
and
You're
I'm
instantly
like-
getting killed.
And I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? We
No,
had this
but
conversation
I
the
told
other
him, I
day.
said, the eye of the storm is the calmest.
Because if you're sitting in the center of the eye of the storm, you're sitting right underneath everybody's nose. They're going to go out and look for everybody else. But if
I
you're
mean,
right
I
in the
guess,
center,
but at the same time, you still have to go through the thickest shit to get
Yeah,
to there,
oh,
so it's not
fuck
fucking
yeah.
worth. I don't think it would be worth it.
you ever seen The Last of Us?
Yeah,
Seen it? You
Played
never
it.
played it?
I played it. I watched it. I was just like, man, it just feels like a realistic scenario that could go down. But I know that zombies aren't a thing. Not that
yeah.
I
Take
know.
away the zombies, I
Yeah.
could see. Yeah,
Yeah, but like just people trying to take over and get power everywhere.
So something like what is the game? Division?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. dude, I wish Ubisoft didn't shit on that game. That would have been so good. But
Yeah. Yeah,
Ubisoft.
man, I don't fucking know,
Ubi
man.
shit.
I hope that doesn't happen. But if
Yeah,
it does
same.
happen, while shit hits the fence, hey, find your people, man.
literally,
Yeah, get you a group of motherfuckers that can hunt, that can fucking shoot, that know how to work a
see,
fucking.
and that's why I feel bad because it's like most of the people that are on the left side of politics traditionally don't have firearms to defend themselves, so they're super reliant on the right side. And if it gets to that point where it's like a civil war, and it's like, I mean, regardless, like we're all Americans, but if it gets to the point where it's like right versus left, then they're at a really bad disadvantage. And I think that's like one of the things that makes America so great is the fact that we can communicate on differing opinions. Because if you're just like super traditionalistic and you're like laser focused on like one state of mind, you're never gonna like honestly change and adapt and improve to like something that you could. So I feel like you have to communicate with other people that have opposite opinions, and then you should be able to like say, well, I believe in X, Y, and Z because of X, Y, and Z, and then they're like, well, actually, I think it's this way because of my life experiences, and then you use those to build an even better world. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The world's gotten pretty shitty
It's
within the
something.
last like
Yes,
10 years,
dude,
honestly.
yeah.
So
I've just been watching, and I'm like, man, shit is going downhill. Like,
and most people are oblivious, which is like the sad thing.
Yeah.
And it's like you go and try to talk to people, and they're like, they look at you fucking weird, or like they call you conspiracy theorists and stuff like that. It's like,
nah, man, you gotta open your eyes to the broader spectrum
yeah,
of
you do.
life. You
You
know,
do.
there's this one dude that I know. He's an older guy, and he's been prepping for a while for World War III. And I'm like,
At work or
he yeah,
We don't know.
something like
Okay.
that.
We
you
know.
know,
We know. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not gonna disclose who he is. I mean, maybe we could speak about it later on. But yeah, he's been prepping for World War III. He's told me he's got a generator. He's got like
Oh,
16
shit.
cases of water. He's got all his firearms. He's been fucking loading up on ammo, and he's like, I've been reading the Bible. The Bible says that that the war happens out there in Israel, whatever the fuck is going on. I don't know exact country, but. And he's like, the eagle above also gets involved, and I guess that's us in the U.S. And then shit just goes to hell, man. Because then we get attacked or whatever and whatnot, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you spitting bullshit, man, but I'm listening. I'm like, and he's like, man, you need to prep, you need to get ready. I'm like, bro, I appreciate you for telling me that because and he's like, he tells me the other day, and he's like, God forbid this happens, but get ready, man.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, I think it's one of those situations where it's like you don't want it to happen, but it's better. Like, what's the saying? Like, it's better to be a soldier in a garden than a.
Gardener in a war.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just one of those situations where it's good to be ready. Like, it may never happen, and honestly, I hope it never happens. But yeah, no, it's just better to be prepared because what does it honestly hurt you? You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt nothing.
No,
So.
you're just a paranoid
Are
person
you
who doesn't
prepared for
understand
that?
how the world
Like,
works.
Not currently. I mean, not to the point where I want to be, but
not like
I'd
mentally, but
say,
physically.
uh, I would say like mentally and physically, I'm probably ready for it, but I just don't think I have a lot of the like physical things that I would want in case of that going down. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Well,
So
they're more like desires, more like wants rather than needs, because essentially all you need is essential things,
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
So as long as
yeah,
you,
just to make my life easier if something like that happened. But yeah,
Travel light, man.
yeah, yep.
Um, have you wrapped your head around like? I know I'd hate to say it, but like need be, man, because there's not a lot of people that listen.
Right.
You're
huh?
gonna be a lone soldier, man. You,
What?
you got to do what you got to do. If family don't want to listen and
Yeah.
shit breaks out, man, it's like I did my
So
best.
luckily, I've got at least my brother who is like way more into a lot of this stuff than I am. So at least I know at the end of the day, I've got him with me. So it would
Joel
be
and Tommy.
literally. So at least I've got my bro with me, and then yeah, no, it'd be interesting. But I mean, if it all comes down to it, and it's like nobody wants to fucking, if there's like a course of action that I think is like the right answer, and nobody agrees with me, sorry, I love you guys, but I'm gonna do me.
I like that, man.
So
I like that. Can't be a
Can't
sitting
control other
duck.
people, but you can control yourself.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, what about you? You ready for that? Like physically, mentally, if that
Um,
happens.
I'd say physically and mentally, yeah. But like he's saying, there's things that I want, but not necessarily that I need. That would make it a lot easier
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing for my advice on it would be to know bushcraft.
Yep.
So being able to
100%.
just have basic needs like let's
Just
say
a fucking
a knife and a
Just a
hatchet,
knife. Yeah.
and then just figuring out how to make shelter. How to use the land. What am I looking for?
To your advantage.
Yeah, how to use land to your advantage and for yourself. To
Yeah.
obviously find water. Figure out techniques to that. Knowing species of trees, of plants.
Yeah. What's edible? What's
Just
poisonous? And
literally the outdoors, the world around you.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
how
I
we
think
used
that's
to
like
live.
yeah. I think that's something that's like society has gotten to the point where people don't really like now. It's like people used to survive just for their livelihood. Or now it's like kind of like a hobby for people that are more wealthy. It's like, oh well, I'm gonna go out and hunt, or I'm gonna go and fish during the weekends. And I think that's kind of honestly a bad thing because, like for instance, like in society, if there was a civil war that broke out, most people wouldn't be able to survive on their own
Nope.
without the government systems that supports literally everything. Because like, there's probably a lot of people that don't really think about fucking farms, for instance, and they're just like, oh well, I get my food from the grocery store, and that's all they just think it fucking spawns there, and it's
Right.
like,
It just spawns in.
no, literally. So it's like
Yeah,
some people
bro,
are honestly that
literally a lot of
clueless.
people like don't even know. Like,
Yeah, so it's just shitty, but I mean it's not even like just to the level of bushcraft because it's like if
Yeah.
you're trying to like stay out there and like survive, it's even to the point where if you have other people that like you don't know come up to you, like or not even come up to you, but like if they're coming into like the general vicinity that you're staying in, sometimes you want to like hide, so it comes in even more into like
yep.
just figuring out to like blend into your environment and stuff
People
like
get
that.
desperate, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like if they see you living comfortably with all that stuff going on, they're going to try to kill you to take all your belongings or whatever because it's going to make their life easier and benefit them. So it's like if they see that like they ran out of all their ammo from like defending themselves and they see you with a fucking a firearm, they'll try to kill you to take that so that way they can
Yeah,
have it
hell
to defend
yeah.
themselves. So it's like yeah, Yeah, it's gonna be one of those situations where you can't really trust anybody other than like your close
Immediate
family.
people,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just
yeah.
like to comment that I prefer the brown cows because they make chocolate milk.
Okay.
That's
My
my two
game
cents
plan.
on
What if
that.
what if you go and add chocolate powder to a white cow though? Then you got chocolate milk, and you can have regular milk.
Whoa.
Didn't think about that. And then also, if you have a regular cow, you can go and add strawberry powder and get strawberry milk. You can't do that with a chocolate cow.
But at least the chocolate cow constantly gives me chocolate milk. I don't need no powders.
That's true. That's true.
I'm getting 2 chickens and I'm eating eggs for the rest of my
Oh,
life.
that's a good strategy.
Accidentally
Eating them
buys two
grain and all
roosters.
that.
Nice two roosters.
Why are no eggs coming out?
Fuck no. Oh man. Yeah, that's shit, man. Crazy times.
For real.
Yeah. I got a question for you.
Okay.
Since we obviously were talking about how crazy people can get when they go back to their basic needs of living. What makes people so great and so bad?
Ooh.
This is generalized, by the way.
What makes people so great? I think it's their ability to do good for others. Now, I'd say the bad side is that most people, and this is just coming from like an American standpoint because it's like most of my experiences, but I think most people like to. This is going to get kind of more religious because I'm a religious person, but I think most people idolize themselves as a god rather than believing in a god nowadays. And they like to put themselves first in every situation possible rather than helping out one another. And I think that's kind of like the downfall of the West is that we're so materialistic to the point where they have to have everything, and it's not really truly about being there for your neighbor, pretty much. So I'd say that's kind of like the bad part about just people in general. So
I like that.
Yeah, that's
That was solid as hell.
What about you, Stedman?
Um, man, there's good and the bad out there, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not gonna say you know the difference between the two, but like sometimes you get bit by a snake and you don't realize it's a snake. You know,
yeah,
it's like fuck. But it's a learning lesson, you know.
Yeah.
You know, some people give off a demeanor where they're like, you know, they try to portray themselves as good, but you've seen it before, so you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is a snake, you know.
But
Snake
then
in
you
the
also don't
grass.
want to give like you want to give. I don't know. I'm a good person, so I feel like I got kind of stepped on a lot in a lot of my situations because I always try to see the good in people. So regardless of like if they're showing off like red flags, I would kind of like put it to the side because I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and it would end up biting me in the ass later on. And it's like even nowadays, like I'll still see some things where it's like, I know they're a shitty person, but I like want to be good for them because like I just want everybody to be good. But realistically, like he helped me out a lot with like learning on the fact that you don't want to like listen to people based off of their words, but more so off their actions, because that tells you everything you need to know about that person. And that's kind of like I guess that's the one thing I'm trying to grow with on myself is just not trying to like build mental images in my head of like what the perfect person of like they're supposed to be, but more so off of like who they actually are. So
Okay. What about you, Wade?
The good and the bad in people. I'd say, kind of to go off what he was saying with people who believe themselves as gods, is is quite literally that where they believe everything is owed to them. I'd say is
Yeah.
the bad in people.
everybody's
is-
entitled nowadays.
Yeah, entitlement, and then with said entitlement, they use it in a form of manipulation,
Oh my God.
trying to navigate.
That's a good one. I
Trying-
didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to navigate and use people in a manner to help themselves rather than just being there for people in general, like
Yeah,
you're saying, like be
absolutely.
there for your neighbor.
Yep.
And then I'd say the good in people is when you find someone that will take a moment out of their life to be selfless and wholeheartedly there for another individual, even if there's no benefit to them
Yeah, they
because
get no reward out of it. Yeah.
yeah. I guess one other thing that I don't like with people is when they glorify accomplishments or like helping out others and
Yeah.
use it as what would it
They're
be,
like flexing
social?
it. So like clout, basically, you're trying to
Yeah.
get clout. So there's
Yeah.
there's a whole like Bible verse off of it where God states that if you're bringing all of your achievements to other people and trying to gain from it, you'll gain everything from those people. But in terms of when you come to God, those accomplishments will mean nothing because you're I forget what the term is, but like basically you're I don't even remember what it is. Like,
Just because it's like a physical realm versus.
no, it's not even that. Like, it's just strictly from the like standpoint of like, you're more worldly, so you're trying to gain clout and respect from people that don't really matter at the end of the day. Because like once you die, I believe that we go to heaven, and as long as you like believe in God and Jesus and all that stuff, and He died on the cross for our sins. But it's kind of one of those points where it's like there's a statement where it's like if God were to dictate where we're supposed to go based off of our actions, we would immediately go to hell. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like I don't know, I don't really know where I'm going with it, but
I understand what you're
I
saying.
get what you're saying.
yeah, so
So I don't know. I just work here.
exactly.
You look like you got a question
I
or
do.
something.
We're running a little tight on time, so
Yeah.
I got 2 questions left,
Okay,
man.
okay.
In your lifetime, what have you done that hurt someone else?
That hurt someone else. Oof. I'm trying to think.
Being Himothy. I'm just kidding.
I could go into my past relationship, but I don't really want to like name drop or anything.
You don't
Out
got to
of
name
respect for
drop.
them.
You don't got to name drop. You can just tell an instance where you were like, "Oh, I did something," and that's
Okay, so I mean, he knows about it, but while I was in the military, I was staying in an apartment building with my best friend from the military and his wife. They were doing a lot of like shady shit, like he was cheating on her and she was cheating on him in the moment, and they tried to like work things out, and then eventually got to the point where he went on a deployment, and I felt bad for her, so I started spending a lot more time with her, and we ended up getting like into like a lot deeper bond, and we ended up having feelings for each other, and we didn't do anything until she found out that he was then cheating on her while he was deployed again. So then I had relations with her, and later on, after they divorced and everything, he found out about it, and he was kind of hurt by it. But we like recently made amends on all of it, so we're back to like being good and everything. I mean, I haven't really talked to him that much, but yeah. So I'd say definitely that. And
man.
then, like honestly, that's probably like the one thing that hurt me super bad in life, because I like to think of myself as like like a good Christian guy. So the fact that even I was tempted in a situation like that, like it fucked with me pretty heavily. So
I get that, man. You're only human. You make
yeah,
mistakes. Shit
Everyone deserves a
happens.
second chance.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%, 100%. As long as you realize from your mistakes and like, all right, man. I wouldn't put myself in that predicament. Shit
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, you kept doing that. You're just a dickhead.
yeah.
But literally, live and learn.
Kept boning it down. No, no,
Another
but
one.
hey,
We
hey.
the best.
What about you, man? Tell me an instance where in your past that you hurt someone else, or I can get the actual question for you. In your lifetime, what have you done to hurt somebody else?
Mm. Um, I'd say, and not, I'm guilty of doing it many of times in this relationship between my mom and myself. Is anytime she would go on a tangent or get into a conversation or argument, and I just didn't want to deal with it, I would bring up things that would put them in a certain emotional headspace to shut down the conversation just so I could get away from it and
Yeah.
causing them to be hurt just so that I didn't have to feel annoyed myself.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
That was a big one that I did a bunch,
It's all good, man.
unfortunately.
If I had to say, man, my past relationship, we had situations where she would tell me, hey, I don't like that you do this, and I would come up with some other
Excuse.
shit and just be like, oh yeah, this is the reason why, this, instead of actually, taking that in and actually, trying to change the ways of
Yeah.
that shit. I wouldn't do that, and I didn't realize how much it was actually hurting her in that aspect, and I was like, damn, should have
Yeah.
fucking realized that sooner, but
Yeah, I feel that.
you
Live
live and
and
you
learn,
learn,
though.
man.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those situations where it's like they sit there and tell you to like change these things and you tell them you're going to change and then you only work on it for like a little bit and then you go back to your old habits. And like you want it's like you want to do better but you like fall back into those like sins, quote unquote, and like for it's like the mind is strong but the body is weak. And yeah, you just keep falling into those bad habits and it's like until that relationship ends and you gain that like clarity looking back of like, oh man, I was pretty shit or whatever, and you like actually want to like change for the next person. It's like it's just one of those situations where it's like it sucks because it's like now when you go into the next relationship, hopefully you're a better person and you'll give them everything that you wanted to be with the last
Exactly.
person. But I also feel bad because it's like, why couldn't I give that to the last person? You know what I mean?
Exactly,
So,
because it's like
it's
that's
a-
all they wanted from you at that
Yeah,
point in time, and you
exactly.
couldn't give it to
So,
them.
yep.
So sucks, but hey, you live
it's
and you learn.
growth. Yeah, absolutely, it's growth.
You got one more question, or you put the nail in the coffin here? I'm trying to hold my piss
Okay.
in because I really got a
So
piss.
yeah,
But
this is my last question.
all right.
What does letting go mean to you?
Whoo!
Oof. I would say letting go is honestly, to me, the ultimate form of love because it's kind of like,
Knox.
honestly, it's like you understand, where they're coming, like just in a generality, you understand where they're coming from and you wish them the best in life, but you also see it as like, I can't follow down this path, so I just kind of have to let you go on your own life path. Everybody else has like their own separate like stories and stuff like that, and I feel like people come into each other's lives and seasons and sometimes even longer, and they're just there to like kind of teach you life lessons. And at the end of the day, you, like I said earlier, you wish the best for them, but if they're not following a life path that you can see yourself going down or you wish for yourself, then you kind of just have to let them go. And hopefully later on in life, after they've grown and matured and turned into the person that they want to be, if that's on the same avenue that you want to be in, then you'll meet up again in the future. But if not, they're their own person. They went their own way. So that's all you can do for it.
Damn. 100%, man. Yeah, because I'm like, hey, that hit all key points.
Yeah.
If I had to
That shit was a
say
mic
that,
drop. No shit.
yeah, no, literally, he like took the words right out of my chest, man.
Damn.
Yeah, because I'm like,
Damn,
bro,
not
like,
out of the mouth, out of the chest.
yeah, like that is literally the ultimate like sacrifice right there, man. Because
Yeah.
like, if you genuinely fucking love somebody, you let their ass go, man. Because sometimes it's not only better for you, but it's also better for them.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's tearing up over here.
Me?
A little bit.
No,
No,
I
it's
never
fucking-
do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You going?
Bro, what is there else to say?
Nah, literally
mean,
nothing, man.
Literally.
Literally.
So you got a last question.
Yeah, I'm gonna. All right, this is a little light, man.
All right, a light one.
Yeah, where else would you like to live and why?
Ooh, so I've always wanted to live in Washington State, just in like the Pacific Northwest, just strictly off of the beauty of it.
Okay.
I think honestly it goes back to, he's gonna kind of geek at it, but there's a YouTube video that I used to watch that was called is it Lonely Bunnies? Or it was like a couple,
Lonely Bunny.
yeah, a couple people that like BRZs, and they were like super modded out. It's a car for people that don't know, but it was basically like the guy that was like the main videographer had like like he had like the
My background
perfect
icon.
he had the perfect like dream build that I had for it, and yeah, it was just like the
Oh, no,
photography,
I know which one you're talking about now.
the black one, with
As
the
soon as you said
Volk
the guy,
the Volk T37s, yeah.
the no face sticker.
Yeah, the no face sticker. He had like the perfect build on like what I wanted my BRZ to be, and yeah, it's just like all the photography and everything out there was just beautiful. And I've heard outside of Seattle, I've heard nothing but good things from Washington. So
Okay.
if I ever get to the point where I'm financially stable and I can just like go and move wherever I want, it'll definitely be Washington.
Okay. Wade, what about you, man? In the country, out of the country, where would you go?
Probably just. Oh, fucking. If I could, probably Alaska, bro.
Okay.
That's a pretty
Hey,
good one.
Alaska's actually really beautiful.
It is,
exactly.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Exactly. It's just all, yeah, just how fucking pretty Alaska is, bro. I don't got much to say on it. I'm just like
You don't have
person.
to. The natural beauty is like,
Exactly.
honestly, that's
Nah,
all
I'm
you need in life.
I'm just a person that wants to keep to myself and be by myself most of the time. So if I can put myself in a place where I'm just surrounded in like the beauty of nature as a whole,
Absolutely.
and that's all I need.
Yeah, I feel like when people hear Alaska, they think of like just fucking shit ton of snow and ice. And,
Oh yeah.
But I got a
No,
buddy
that's
that
Canada.
recently lived
Yeah.
out there, man, and it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like he sent pictures and shit, and I was like, damn, I didn't even
I'm kind
know.
of salty because like my first duty station was supposed to be
Oh, yeah.
in Alaska, and then at like the last minute after airborne school, my orders got rescinded, and then I went to North Carolina. So I felt like, yeah, I would have fucking
Sold you out, man.
I would have loved to live over there.
Hell
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Man, I've had to say I've got two spots, man.
Damn.
I'd like to live in Egypt for a little period of time.
Okay.
I mean, that's all right.
And I'd like to also live in Japan just to fucking see what it's about, get the car
See, I
experience.
don't know
out
if I would
there.
want to live in Japan because it's like I love the culture and like the aesthetic of it. I would love to travel and visit there, but I don't think I would want to like stay there because it's like either you go to like Kyoto, which is like the super traditionalistic, like living in the countryside, or you go to like Tokyo and like the cities. And I don't think I would really. I would love to travel and visit, but I don't think I would vibe with the world like over there.
I just like their car scene over there, man. It's
Oh,
like so
100%.
fucking different.
100%. Yeah.
Fucking
Ain't that some shit?
car meets in the fucking parking garages and shit like that. It's just
Fast and
bunch of
Furious, looking
JDM
over
shit.
it,
Yeah, hell yeah.
God damn.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I had, man. You know,
Right.
this has been One Thing in Life, episode 15.
Oh yeah.
It was a good one, man.
That was a good